Tiger Stadium, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The invasion comes from a top-ranked rival whose leading man has taken the college football world by storm. But this is home for the Tigers, a lair that's undone many who have entered. And as the Bayou sun sets in the west, it means one thing. It's Saturday night in Death Valley.
Raucous atmosphere at Tiger Stadium.
Those of us who love this sport live for nights like this.
And a matchup of SEC West Titans.
Tigers, prime time.
That's the hardest place I've ever played a football game.
It's loud, it's intimidating, and it's home.
I don't even know how to describe it. Their fans are absolutely crazy, absolutely electric atmosphere.
You earned the right to be here. We all meant to be here.
Bad blood, and, it's just kind of no holds barred.
Here's the deal. Beating Alabama is why you come to LSU.
Handoff, Damien. Touchdown, Alabama!
He's off to the races. Touchdown, Tigers!
If this doesn't get your blood flowing, nothing will. Starting to get that feeling right about now. One more time. The Home Depot SEC on CBS brings us to Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge, and a battle between the hometown Tigers, ranked number 3, and the top-ranked and undefeated Crimson Tide of Alabama. The college football rankings came out earlier this week on Tuesday night. Here's how they looked. Alabama, then Clemson, a big winner today over Louisville. LSU in the 3-spot. Michigan won today. Georgia wrapped up the East. Notre Dame's got a date with Northwestern, and on we go. But in the SEC West, who's going to play the Dogs in the first week of December in Atlanta? If Alabama wins tonight, it'll be the tie. If it's LSU with an upset, they've still got some work to do. Welcome, everybody. I'm Brad Nessler with Gary Danielson. Jamie Erdahl will be joining us in a couple of minutes. Partner, I'm not a big believer in games of the century, because if that was the case, we'd have only played 3 games in college football. I do believe this is the best game of the year so far, and I think you can argue that over the past decade, this is the best series in college football.
And they've earned it. They've earned it with the guys on the field. In the last 10 years, the NFL draft, 142 of these guys have been drafted in the NFL. 36 of them, 1 out of every 4, have gone in the first round. That means the guys playing tonight on that field, 50 of them will be drafted in the NFL, 12 to 14 number 1 picks. That's what separates this game.
Unfortunately for LSU, one of those future number 1 draft picks is not going to play in the first half, and that really puts a dent in their defense.
It does. I don't know if there's a comparable guy for Alabama that could match Devin White other than 2 other quarterback. Devin White brings everything to this football team. When you watch their defense, he's the quarterback of their defense. He gets them situated. He's the veteran. Then he comes up and he makes the tackle. In modern football, with the RPOs, your linebacker has to read the run game, at the same time be aware of the pass game. Nobody does it better than Devin White, making a play just like that. And when he rushes the passer, he's their best pass rusher for LSU. They're going to have to find a way to get to the second half without their best player.
They got to find a way to get to the second quarter. Alabama's outscoring people 21-4 in the first quarter, and they just come flying out of the blocks every week.
I've never seen anything like this. I mean, he's the talk of college football. He has yet to throw a pass in the fourth quarter, and he's the leading candidate to win the Heisman because of what's happening right there. He's basically humiliating teams in the first quarter and taking the crowd out of these games. He is so good when you watch him play. You just say, how does he do that? And when you look at Alabama, because of the way he's playing and the great players around him, when you look at this Alabama football team, you begin to think Nick has had a lot of good football teams, but this might be his best one.
You saw that graphic. LSU haven't given up a touchdown in the first quarter to anybody since last year against Alabama. They can hang their helmets on that, and maybe the secondary they've got that's one of the best around.
That's their hope. When you watch tape, no one has challenged the receivers for Alabama because they haven't had the talent. Grant Delpit will be a number 1 pick. Greedy Williams, a number 1 pick. But that's not the only ones. They've got another quarter in Fulton and John Battles of them. All 4 of them will play in the NFL. But, Brad, I've done the Alabama losses. You better bring a quarterback, because if you want to win, you have to have that guy right there playing at a high level, or you're not going to beat Alabama.
He doesn't have Tua-type statistics, but he does have a 7-1 record as a starter. And can this home crowd be that extra man? We're about to find out if LSU can snap a 7-game losing streak to Alabama and pull the upset and keep their SEC and playoff hopes alive. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Jared. The Home Depot. Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. And by Ford.
Welcome to Tiger Stadium. It's a showdown between the #1 Tide and the #3 Tigers.
Throws to the end zone. Touchdown. Irv Smith. Got it. Dillon on the run. Unbelievable.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS. The best game from the best conference.
Well said, Jason. Alabama and LSU, third member of our team moments ago with Coach Saban. Here's Jamie.
What does your gut tell you about your team and their ability to pass their toughest tests so far this season?
Well, I think it's a challenge to everybody on our team to make a choice that this is an opportunity for us to make a statement about who we are playing against a really good team as well.
All right, Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, he won when he was a coach here, Gary, and he's won even bigger since he left.
Well, when you go to Alabama, your season is measured successfully if you get in the playoffs and win it. Those are high standards.
Coach Orgeron now with Jamie.
Coach, what business does your defense need to take care of without Devin White in the first half?
You know, they're going to try to run the ball on us. We're ready to go. We got some stuff to stop them. We're going to try to go deep with Tua. We're ready to go.
How does your team channel what's happening in this stadium and put it between the hashes?
You know, this is Louisiana. That's why you come to LSU. These guys are going to help us win the football game today.
Coach, thank you.
Go Tigers.
The sideline is bedlam already. LSU won the toss and deferred. So Avery Atkins will tee it up. Josh Jacobs and Brian Robinson wait on the other end, and here we go. And Alabama will bring it out to start at the 25-yard line. That brings us to our Chick-fil-A starting lineup. And it all starts with number 13. And he has been nothing short of unbelievable. Tua Tagovailoa, the sophomore, started things off in the second half of the national championship game last year against Georgia and has never looked back. 25 touchdowns, no interceptions. And as Gary said, right now, the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. And he's all by himself in the Alabama backfield. Now he's joined by Damian Harris. The throw is complete. One play and 14 yards, just like that. As we take a look at the group that joins Tua and the offense. We talk about what great wide receivers they have, but Irv Smith, who grew up just down the road in New Orleans where his dad was a Saint, and he adds to an unbelievable receiving corps. And on the first play of the game, one of those defensive guys that Gary talked about in the secondary is down, John Battle.
Yeah, having to match up man-to-man on the first play. They need him. He is their run foot filler, and you can see on the tackle, shoulder pad to knee. You know, I have to say, you got to really respect Coach O challenging Tua. I thought without Devin White, they would take the ball. One less possession in the first half. They challenged Alabama by saying, we'll defer. I was surprised.
Remember, Alabama scored a touchdown on every opening drive through 8 games. Tua, the throw might be another first down, just a little bit short. So a 14-yard pickup and then 9 more. That one to Jalen Waddle. Here's the Tiger defense. And you got to watch Patrick Queen because he's the guy that's trying to fill the shoes of Devin White for the first half tonight. You saw Battle limp off. Second down and 1. Damian Harris, first down and then some. Still going. And he's into LSU territory near the 46.
You get mesmerized by how good Tua is and the stats he's throwing up there. But he's playing with some great football players. Both offensive tackles could be playing in the NFL right now. Damian Harrison could be playing in the NFL right now. Their 3 receivers are excellent at getting open. They all are going to play in the NFL. He's got talent all around him.
2 tight ends in there, Henches and Smith right now. On first down at the LSU 46. That's Irv Smith in motion. Tagovailoa comes back near side. Easy pitch and catch complete to Jerry Jeudy, who draws a crowd. Jeudy, the leading receiver, coming in. That's his 32nd catch of the year, close to 800 yards and 10 touchdowns. And look at this group. That's the average yards per catch for their top 4 receivers. If you throw in Irv Smith, their tight end, H-back, it comes down to about 20.7. That's how they stretch the field.
And they are all great route runners, and they've got speed.
Second down and 5. And here's a little toss. Henry Ruggs down the sideline with a big gainer. And another Alabama first down.
They just keep you off balance. Tua is so good at getting rid of the ball on passing downs, and then they come with the jet sweep. That's going to count as a pass, but they keep you off balance. The reason he doesn't get hit and sacked, only 5 sacks all year for this Alabama offense, is because he pre-reads. He knows where the ball is going before the ball is snapped.
1 run, 4 passes, 6th play of the drive that's moved to the Tiger 29. Tagovailoa on the sideline, in and out of the hands of Irv Smith, just a little bit high and incomplete.
And that's what you have to bank on if you're LSU. You play man-to-man coverage. That time Todd Harris, who's in there for John Battle, is matched up man-to-man. He didn't have him perfectly covered, but it took an accurate pass. When you sit in zone, they just pick at you. You've got to challenge the throw by playing man-to-man coverage and then mix in the zone.
Josh Jacobs comes into the Alabama backfield for the first time on second down and 10. 3 wideouts to the top of the screen, and now that's Waddle coming back into the slot. Tagovailoa loads it, has plenty of time, fires, and incomplete again, and a nice job defensively by Christian Fulton on Henry Ruggs, and it's 3rd and 10.
Well, Greedy Williams gets all the pub, and he deserves it, but Christian Fulton is as good a man-to-man coverage guy as you'll see. He'd be the lead guy on most any team. He's the other guy on LSU.
He actually leads the Tigers in passes defended, including that one that forces a 3rd and long. Tagovailoa, unbelievable on 3rd down this year. Actually, he's pretty special on every down.
The 3-man line and
illegal substitution on the defense. 12 men in the formation. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, it makes it easier for him. Now it's 3rd down and 5.
And there's the Devin White problem. Okay, Devin White would turn around and figure that out. In this defense, you've got 2 young players out there, Jacob Phillips and Patrick Queen. So you've got 5 in the box right here. Uh-oh, this guy should not be on the field. He runs out late. He did not get the good communication. And all of a sudden, you get 12 men on the field.
Alabama 56% on 3rd down. Best in college football, and LSU just made it easier for them with a free 5. Jerry Jeudy in motion. Blitz is coming. Tagovailoa throws that way, complete. Irv Smith for another first down. He threw right where the blitz was coming from.
I don't know who read it faster, Irv Smith or Tua on that play. Watch Irv Smith break off the line. He sees the blitzer, and watch him just turn his head. He knows he's getting the ball right now. And the ball is delivered right now. The penalty allowed that throw. If it's 3rd and long, they can't make that short throw.
We talked about this already. Opening drive scores in every game. And right now they're only 14 yards away again. Josh Jacobs in the backfield. Judy in motion. He flips it to him. And this time LSU's got it red. But Judy reverses his field. Still going to go down for a loss. Braden Fehoko made the first contact, and then he got help.
There was miscommunication because Josh Jacobs thought he was getting the ball. Watch, he almost runs into it. Watch Jacobs right here as the pitch is made. That's what really causes the commotion in the backfield and blows up the play.
So it brings up second down at 18.
How does LSU make Tua throw the ball before he wants to?
4 wide out group. They're going to bring the blitz again. Tagovailoa is going to try a screen. It's popped in the air. Incomplete. Almost came down to one of the offensive linemen, Jonah Williams, the All-American candidate. But it got tipped by Rashard Lawrence, I think.
It did. It was Rashard Lawrence, but they did bring a 5th blitzer off the edge. You have to get a little bit of pressure on the quarterback, and they do it by bringing the linebacker. Tua had to throw it before he wanted to, and Big Rashard made the play.
If LSU even gets a stop here, this place is going to come unglued. Third down at 18.
LSU has to play safe here. Zone. Let it happen in front of you.
They're going to bring a corner blitz from Delpit, and down goes Tagovailoa. There's flags down unless LSU was offside. I don't know. Michael Divinity is the guy that got there, and Tua is hurt.
And remember, so is Jalen Hurts, the backup quarterback. This was a zone blitz. You bring 5, but you play zone behind it.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 73. It's a 5-yard penalty. The down is still third.
Nobody could hear the whistle on this play. It was being whistled on the play, but nobody heard it, and that got the shot on the quarterback. And if you watch Jalen Hurts warm up, because he's had surgery and has been in a boot all week, he wasn't even half speed.
Delpit's the guy that hit Tagovailoa below the belt, and he's still down. I think he's going to be all right, and I think most of you that ever played football knows what just happened. Here's Jalen Hurts with Dan Enos before the game.
That's not 50%, right?
No, it's not. We talked to Nick Saban yesterday and said, what about Jalen? He said he'll play in an emergency. Well, Mac Jones is going to come in at least for a snap until Tua can get his breath over there on the sideline. But what the redshirt freshman out of Jacksonville is facing is 3rd down and a mile.
Yeah, he's facing 3rd down and a screen pass or draw is what he's facing.
Alabama had 1st and 10 at the 14. Right now they're lined up at the 27 of the Tigers. And Mac Jones is thinking, and I think they got another false start on a slot on the right-hand side. It looked like one of the receivers jumped, and they're going to blow this dead too.
Yes, they did.
I think Jerry Jeudy kind of came out of his pose over there.
And if you don't think this crowd is a factor in this game.
Offense number 4. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Tua's coming back in.
You know, Brad, you often talk about the 12th man. Well, in this instant, for LSU, without Devin White, I've been calling this crowd all week the 11th man. Yeah. They're the extra guy that LSU defense wants to help them get through this half before number 40 can come out and make it a ball game, if it's a ball game in the second half.
Alabama's not in field goal range right now, and it's 3rd down and 28 as their quarterback is back from the 32 now. And again, whistles before the snap. Matt Austin's our referee.
Oh, it's because he did not sit out for a full play.
Because of the penalty.
Yes.
Since there's not been a play
That's
run,
a non-counted play because of the penalty.
He's ineligible to play the next down.
Yes. Since it was a penalty and no play, he asked Well, that's pretty interesting. He got hurt on a no play, and he tried to come in after a no play. That seems fair, doesn't it? I mean,
well, he's taking his helmet off because he doesn't think they're going to get 28 yards on third down, but you never know. It's the 11th play of the drive coming up. And it's Mac Jones, the third-string quarterback, at the controls. And a little option pitch to Damian Harris. Broke one tackle, but not the rest. Rashard Lawrence and company are there. And it looks like the string of scores in every game is going to dissipate right here for Alabama.
Alabama just did not want a turnover here. They were hoping they could gain 5-6 yards to kick a field goal, and they weren't even able to do that. And what'd you say, Brad? There's over 100,000 here?
Yep.
All 100,000 know that Alabama has scored on the first drive of every play of every game. They know it.
And now they know that they forced Mike Bernier to punt for the first time in a first drive situation. Looked like it was going to be a beauty, but it made it to the end zone. The LSU defense did its job. They give it back to their offense for the first time when we come back. Get your sports news and highlights straight without the noise. Stream CBS Sports HQ, the all-new 24/7 sports news network, available on your phone, computer, and connected TV devices. CBS Sports HQ, sports for the true fans. And my partner Gary Danielson, after every game, will join you. Chick-fil-A starting lineups for LSU. And it starts with number 9. I mentioned 7-1 as a starter for Joe Burrow. And while those statistics are not glaring, he is one tough competitor. And as we saw in the Auburn game, big plays that he had to make. Same thing with Georgia, whether it be with his arm or his legs. He's one tough cookie. And he's at the controls from the 20-yard line. Behind him, Nick Brossette, leading rusher, closing in on 700 yards for the year.
How aggressive will they be?
Justin Jefferson, top wide receiver in motion. Play action, bootleg, throw, complete. Morrow, the tight end, and he's got it out across the 25 to the 26. Here's the rest of the LSU group. Joining him, I just mentioned Justin Jefferson. He's their top receiver, and both Steve Emsinger and Coach Orgeron said our wide receivers have to make some big plays in the game, and he's the guy that usually does it.
And they've been dropping a few balls, and that's been the theme for 2 weeks. We got to make the plays that present us. If we make the easy catches, the normal catches, we'll worry about the acrobatic catches at the end later.
2nd down and 3 after a pickup of 7. A bunch of receivers on that left side, but they come back the other way to Brossette. He's got a first down. Nice pitch and catch. Savion Smith made the tackle for Alabama. Their defense is a good one, and it's getting better every week.
When you look at the last 4 years, the LSU quarterbacks, there were 3 of them, have a combined 39% completion against this Alabama defense. So far, Burrow 2 for 2.
Play fake and trying to throw a slant and it knocked down. Either Anthony Jennings or Dylan Moses got a hand on it.
I think it was Jennings. I think you're right. Right there being blocked at the line of scrimmage, and 6'5" Jennings goes up and gets it.
Defense for Alabama. One of the better ones in the country again, even though they're not as notorious as maybe years past. Isaiah Buggs from Ruston, Louisiana, the senior, leads the team in sacks with 8.5. Brossette, wow. Looked like Matt Wilson was shot out of a cannon. He was the first guy that made contact.
Well, this Alabama defense is giving up more yards per rush attempt than any defense that Nick Saban has had. However, as you said, they're getting better. Those inside linebackers are starting to read those little angles and those little alleys and hitting it in the backfield.
So here's the first 3rd and long for LSU. 37% on 3rd down on the year. We've just ticked under 8 minutes here in the first quarter. 3rd down and 13. Play action. Burrow fires. almost intercepted by Savion Smith. Had he held it, he'd probably still be running.
Boy, that would have been a sweet one for Savion Smith. He started his career here at LSU. Now he plays for Alabama. The LSU receivers wanted to go at him. Better be careful. Bad read by Joe Burrow. Did not see the corner in the flat. Thought he had an easy throw to Jefferson. He's lucky he got away with it.
Zach Von Rosenberg in to punt for the first time. Jalen Waddle is back deep. Second in the SEC in punt returns. And he's got to call a fair catch on this one at about the 22-yard line. So we're halfway through quarter number one. A standoff so far between top-ranked Alabama and number 3 LSU.
Adam Zucker in New York with this Zaxby's update. It was a wild one in Austin, over 1,100 total yards, 9 lead changes. Will Greer to Gary Jennings Jr. to get the Mountaineers within 1, and they go for the win. Will Greer keeps it. Victory. And at worst, West Virginia will be in a tie for first in the Big 12 at the end of the night. Brad, Gary, Jamie, back to you.
Wow, big game for Will. We saw him in the opener this year in Charlotte. It's too bad they don't have that game against North Carolina State that got stormed out because they could conceivably have one more win.
Yes, and that'll matter at the end.
Dave Aranda, defensive coordinator for LSU. His team did its job the last time Alabama had the ball on offense. Here's a little flip again to Jacobs. Jacobs, big seam on the left side, and he's out to the 38-yard line.
It's funny when you talk to Dave Aranda, we just showed him, he said when Jacobs comes in, they run the perimeter.
Right.
So they had the scouting report, and again, I think if Devin White's out there, he points that out. He remembers that. When you got young players in there, they're just going, where's my guard? Where's the running back? Where's the quarterback? When you got a veteran, he's reminding everybody of what the tendencies are.
Jacobs takes it for 17 yards and a first down at the 39. Damian Harris, the Tagovailoa in the backfield. Looked like they were going to run the same play. Now he pulls it, throws complete. What a catch by Henry Ruggs.
You know, we can talk about the accuracy, and it is true, but it's also nice to have one of those guys. You know,
nice to have 4 of those guys.
Yeah, one of those guys where when you don't put it on target, they come down with it. The catch radius on that one was about 10 feet.
Odell Beckham Jr. is here at the game. He can enjoy that even though it's the enemy. Tua, 8 of 11 so far. There's Odell Beckham Jr., former great at LSU. The give, Najee Harris into the secondary, still rolling with Tigers wrapped all over it. Inside the 20.
One of the changes at Alabama has gotten better. Deontay Brown has come in at left guard. Run behind Deontay Brown has been a good game plan for Alabama. Follow big number 65. He has been on fire in his run blocking.
How ironic that the biggest play so far is not through the air. It's that 28-yard pickup on the ground by Harris. Alabama back in the red zone. First down at the 19. Play fake, throw, complete, short game. And that's Waddle. He'll bring up second down right about the 15.
Think about the clock. 10 minutes, still 0-0. That's 10 minutes of running time until they get their best player back. They need to kill time and stay in the game.
Second and 6 at the 15. Najee switches sides. He had the big play to get them where they are. They fake it to him and come up throwing. Touchdown, Alabama. Henry Ruggs. Flag flies in at the end, but I think it's going to be on LSU, and it'll be an Alabama touchdown.
The All-American Greedy Williams has not been beat on a touchdown all year until now. There's Greedy matched up man-to-man. Beaten at the line of scrimmage.
He's also playing
throw.
a touchdown. During the play, personal foul, targeting number 9 of the defense.
Whoa.
Oh no.
Oh, no is right.
Targeting will be reviewed.
Oh, no.
That's the best defensive player they've still got on the field, Grant Delpit.
Right at the end of the catch in the end zone, Delpit's going to come across. And remember, the officials are told, when in doubt, call targeting. This could be bad news for Grant Delpit and LSU fans.
Again, the catch. Here comes the hit.
He tries to turn his shoulder.
So this will be reviewed. It is a touchdown, that part we know. But this would be disastrous for LSU.
And think about it, we just got done talking about, well, they've killed 10 minutes. They're still in the ball game. And as Brad just told you, they might lose their next best football player.
You see Ruggs start to put the brakes on. Such a tough call.
It's almost impossible to play in the secondary when the receiver starts to duck. Now, we saw one earlier in the year when Deontay Thompson hit a player that was ducking, and they picked up the flag. As Delpit is saying, I'm trying to hit him with my shoulder.
An all-important call coming up. David Allman, replay official Matt Austin, will give either good or very bad news to LSU fans and their head coach.
And to fans who want to watch a football player play, a great football player play football.
He not only leads the country in interceptions, he leads the team in sacks. And is an All-American candidate and a captain.
He really is the Jamal Adams of safeties for LSU.
During the view, the catch for a touchdown was also reviewed. The ruling of a touchdown is confirmed. The ruling of targeting is overturned. There was no targeting. Number 9 may stay in the game.
Wow. Well, that's good news for number 9 and 102,321 in here.
And what Grant Delpit and all of the players on both sides have to do is start bringing their arms on these tackles. How about that? Have you ever seen a team cheer when the other team scores?
Scored a touchdown, yeah. Bullivus in for the point after. The snap was bad. The kick way low and no good. I don't know if it was the snap or the hold by Jones, but it was not a good operation for the battery of that extra point.
And remember, Tua is usually the holder. Because of his knee, that's why he's not in there. And it's bobbled and has no chance.
So good news on back-to-back plays for LSU, but it's still Alabama in front. Now there's the definition of targeting by rule. Forcible contact, crown of the helmet, head or neck area, defenseless opponent. And Grant Delpit is so happy to still be in that uniform and not headed to the locker room where Devin White is right now, and I'm sure Devin's watching the game too. And it was overturned after replay and review.
And you know what I think that helped out Grant Delpit is Ruggs was actually making a football play, so he wasn't defenseless on the hit.
A returnable kick. We don't see many of those from the 10, Edward Zeller. And he weaves his way through the special teams out to about the 24. So fair catch would have gotten him about the same thing.
So the reason I think LSU came out throwing the ball is because of what they saw Alabama just do. They look at this Alabama team, they've been scoring 54 points a game on average. If their defense has a great game, they might hold them to 28. That means you got to get to 29. Okay? So you got to play offense. You can't hide the ball, slow the ball down, run the ball between the tackles and eat clock. You got to play.
If Coach Orgeron said we have to be aggressive once, he said it 15 times yesterday in our meeting. Trying to be aggressive here, but this is an aggressive Alabama defense led by Quinnen Williams, who's one of the best around, and he comes up with a sack. That's the 27th sack of the year. That's tops in the SEC and top 10 in the country.
Well, when you're playing against Alabama's pass rushers, the leading sack defense in the SEC, you got to have a mental clock going. You got to do it the way Tua does it on offense. You look at your guy, you make up your mind, you get to number 2, and you throw it away or run. You cannot pause.
And now behind the sticks at 2nd down and 16. Burrow again, better get rid of it. Did on a crossing route, complete to Dillon. Dillon gets out around the 27. And it'll bring up 3rd down and manageable.
Yeah, what LSU did so well against Georgia is avoid 3rd and longs. When they had a 2nd down play, they made 4, 5, 6 yards and got it to 3rd and 4, 5 yards. Even 3rd and 7 almost takes the running game away from you. Alabama will lay their ears back and come after the quarterback.
Justin Jefferson in motion on 3rd down and 7 from the 27. Burrow, look out from behind. He's throwing this one in the dirt. I don't know if they tried to get a screen set up and it blew up, but
they did. And Anthony Jennings, number 33, read it. Nowhere to go with the football. Watch the veteran play right there by Jennings. He sees it, he reads it, get rid of it. Great defense.
And a pretty wise move, really, by Joe Burrow to live another day and don't throw it away. I did throw it away, rather, but not throw it to the other team. That brings up 4th down, and Von Rosenberg to punt again. Forced a fair catch out of Waddle on the last one. Put some pressure on him. Waddle has to backpedal and call fair catch again. Dropped the ball, but he covered it right about at the 24. And that's where Alabama will have it back. Leading by 6. 3:21 remaining 1st quarter. Tied with the ball when we return. That played either at Alabama or LSU, and especially Alabama with 1st-round draft picks.
Yeah, they sure can. What's unique of the 26 first-round draft picks in the last 10 years under Nick Saban, it's been at every position. 11 starters on defense, defensive line, linebacker, safety, and corner, and 10 starters on offense.
So they've had it all then, huh?
Except for one guy.
Well, 2 years from now, the guy that's going to take the snap will fill that puzzle. Tagovailoa, low snap, comes up, throws incomplete, and intended for Henry Ruggs, who didn't break off what Tua thought was going to be the pattern.
Just to give you an idea of what LSU is facing, and actually I saw Kirk do this on game day today. He interviewed Tua. I was ready for it, but he beat me to it. Okay.
Well, he started earlier in the day.
I know. Tua's had 61 drives. 41 of them have produced touchdowns, and he is quarterback 67% of the time. He's 50-50. But if you're playing defense against him, you got to think about that. 2 out of 3 times, his offense gets to the end zone with a touchdown. Amazing.
A little bit of confusion, it appears, right now for the Tide offense. Blitz is coming. The handoff, and the blitz paid off.
Yeah, and Nick Saban ran down to call timeout. But, you know, Nick's my age, and he just didn't quite get there, you know. He knew that they did not have the right play on, and as Nick Saban ran down there, it was blown up before he could get the time-up call.
Great play by Jacob Phillips. Man, they're fast.
Yeah, you don't. There's Nick Saban running. Can't quite get there like the old days.
He got to your age earlier this week on Halloween, his birthday. 3rd and 15.
Wow, back to back. I'll tell you, the 11th man is having a factor in this game.
There's going to be some ears burned over there until we come back to the next snap. Tomorrow, what has 60 Minutes found out about weapons used in most of the recent mass shootings? Plus, ride the biggest waves in the world tomorrow on 60 Minutes. 3rd down at 15. Here comes everybody after Tagovailoa. Fires, far sideline, caught, or is he out? Waddle, what a catch to keep his feet down.
It was not a designed back shoulder throw. It was just an underthrow. And when you're out there by yourself, Kristen Fulton, the ball is underthrown, and that's a freshman that knows how to play receiver right there. Knows where he is on the field. And you know what? He's watched so much pro football, he thought he had to have 2 feet in.
He got them both in.
He did.
Out to the 48, a 28-yard pickup, and now it's Jacobs who broke 1 tackle, not the second wave. Did pick up about 3. Rashard Lawrence in on the stop.
Yeah, and Braden Fehoko also up front there. Those front 3 or 4. However, Dave Aranda dials it. Whether he has 3 down linemen or 4, they have to make a difference. They have to put some pressure on Tua, get to his feet.
2nd and 8. Tied just on their side of midfield. Tagovailoa loads it, airs it long, incomplete, intended for Henry Ruggs. Defended well, and it's 3rd down.
See, what you have to do if you play corner in big-time college football or in the NFL is you got to have a short memory. You just got to forget that you got beat inside for a touchdown lineup and go, they ain't doing it to me again. And he was so confident that he could run with that deep ball that time. No chance for the touchdown.
Greedy Williams has talked a lot this week. He said they haven't seen anything like us. Now they're getting a tasteful right now. Blitz off the corner. Tagovailoa loads and fires again. Same spot, same result. Incomplete, intended for Waddle.
That's the game plan. They're bringing 5 defenders, and they're playing man-to-man coverage and forcing the perfect throw. You know, we talked about how good Tua was in putting drives and points on the board. LSU was ranked 7th in the country. 80% of the time, they either force a punt, a turnover, or downs. So 80% of the drives that start against LSU produce no points. They've got 2 of them so far in this game.
Bernier to punt. Giles is down on the other end. And Jonathan will call for a fair catch around the 17 or 18-yard line. With 1:09 remaining in the first quarter. The keys, Gary, to this one.
Well, I think, first of all, you got to make it a game. You got to survive the first half. Alabama's been winning all the games in the first half. How do you slow it down? Can you run just enough, make a few first downs, and then your secondary has to play? You got 4 NFL players. The 4 guys got to make some plays over there, and then this 11th man. So far, the 11th man has come through. This crowd has been a factor.
Edwards-Helaire with Burrow in the backfield. First down, LSU from its own 18. It's Edwards-Helaire trying to find something against that Alabama defense and didn't find anything there. Dylan Moses, and they drop him for a loss.
You know, I always get a kick out of everybody talks about improving. You know, we're getting better. We're getting better. We're just going to get better and better. And pretty soon we're going to be able to play with Alabama. Alabama's getting better and better too.
That's right.
You know,
they're not going backwards.
No, they're not. And I'm watching them play defense at a way higher level than I saw at the beginning of the season.
2nd and 11. Burrow again flushed. Throws back across the middle and incomplete, in and out of the hands of Stephon Sullivan. Catchable ball. Savion Smith was there defending.
Good coverage, force a perfect pass, stay in phase. That's the word you hear when you watch both these teams practice in the secondary coaches. Stay in phase, don't panic.
3rd down and 11 in the final half minute of quarter number 1. Three receivers and a bunch set to Burrow's left. He's looking that way and now comes back to the right. Incomplete, intended for D. Anderson. Flag flies in. Going to be on Savion Smith. And a little jawing going on between those two.
Listen, I'm not calling anybody out as an official, okay? But I know when I played, we used to throw those plays at our bench.
Pass interference,
so that our
defense
bench,
number 4. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
could yell into that official's ear, holding, pass interference, pass interference. It's better than throwing it on the other bench where the Alabamers are going, nice job, nice job, nice job.
And there you see the coaches pointing, waiting for the flag, and they got it.
Not saying it wasn't a good call. You saw him grab him, he had his hand on there. But if I got to pick sides to throw, I want to throw it my side.
First down by penalty. Out to the 32. Almost offside by the Alabama defense. They got back. Play action. There's the slant they wanted earlier and missed on. This is Justin Jefferson. Had a first down throw to midfield. They had one earlier that got knocked down at the line. That one's good for 19 yards.
They feel confident and they want to go fastball.
Play action. Burrow. Deep left sideline. Jefferson knocked down. Patrick Surtain, the freshman, got a hand on it.
Alabama has not been pressured. They haven't been in one of these situations where somebody forced them to make the plays. But I'm telling you, I've watched Alabama play for 12 years. They're the clutchest football team I've seen in the last 12 years.
Burrow trying to throw it out to Edwards-Helaire. Puts his foot in the ground. Got inside the 45. And, man, it's taken 3 or 4 Alabama players to get him down.
LSU has survived the first quarter. Alabama's average, they've led 21-4. Still a football game.
End of one. It's only 6-0 in this quarter. We'll return to Baton Rouge after this message and a word from your local station. We start the second quarter at Tiger Stadium with the hometown Tigers with a third down and a long 2. Alabama thought about a blitz. The give to Brissett, and he lost yardage.
And I don't think they got enough where Coach O is going to want to go for this. I think they were wanting to pick up a yard and a half, and then like they did against Georgia, what was it, 4 times now?
Yeah.
4 times they went for it, but they didn't gain enough. You know, Bugs eats up the block and allows Moses to come in and make the play.
Yeah, it's still
too
more
long.
than 2.
Yeah, too long.
So that's Josh Grodin that will punt. That's Jalen Waddle back at his own 10-yard line. Trying to hit this one down inside the 10. Makes it to the end zone, though. And so they'll bring it out to Alabama offensively again. And as we're early in the second quarter, Gary, we talked about, can you get to halftime and get your best player back? So far, they've survived. Alabama's had 3 possessions, 1 touchdown, 2 punts.
Yeah, but it feels like if I was LSU, where am I going to get the points?
Yeah.
That's the one thing about LSU. I got to get Devin White back, but he plays defense. You know, that's what if I'm LSU, is like, how much can we really hold down this Alabama offense? Because I say if you could hold it to 1 touchdown a quarter, that's great defense. I don't know where LSU is going to get the points.
So this is the 4th possession. And that's Damian Harris. The senior goes out across the 25 to the 26. Of course, Alabama rotates their backs. It's Damian Harris. Najee Harris already had a 28-yard pickup. Josh Jacobs had that little toss on the end around that also produced a big gain. So they've got a stable of backs to work with. Damian got 6. 2nd down and 4. Blitz coming from the secondary. Tagovailoa has time, now scrambles, and he's going to run. Will he slide or will he head to the sideline? They don't need him taking any hits. He's out of bounds with a 1st down.
And Christian Fulton got one on him right at the end.
Fulton with a stop.
Nobody to throw to. Not a great pass rush. Again, bringing an extra linebacker, but picked up nicely by Deontay Brown, number 65, the left guard. Nowhere to go, but Fulton gets a shot on him. And remember, no backup quarterback with any experience.
Damian Harris cuts it on the left side, and he's got maybe another first down or very close, so give him 9.
You know what's amazing? Damian Harris, probably one of the outstanding backs in all of college football, coming into this game only had 68 rushing attempts in 8 games. You know, I mean, that's amazing. Your best, running back is being able to be rested all year like that. His legs are as fresh as anybody at running back in college football.
And he told us earlier this year, I wanted to come back to be a leader for this team as a senior. Could have easily gone pro last year. Here he comes again. There he goes again. Damian Harris inside the 40, down to the 37.
Well, I'll tell you, Hale Henches that time, in a little bit of an ISO off the H-back position, comes in there and really, watch this, watch the H-back come in here and get the load. Lead it right in there. You follow 84, and it works.
Tagovailoa is going to throw it to him this time. Broke a tackle, got inside the 35, near the 33. So an 18-yard run. Now the pass completion to him coming the other way.
I mean, just think about this, though. LSU's playing sound, good defense. Alabama's moving the ball. It's like a slow death, but it's better than a fast death.
Tagovailoa throws complete. Going to be a loss on this one to Judy. We talked to Dave Aranda yesterday, and he said, I used to watch Mike Tyson when he was back 19, 20 years old. I'd be at my grandparents' house, and we'd watch those fights on pay-per-view, and he says, I don't know if it's a Trevor Burbick fight or one of those, but you knew with Tyson something big was going to happen at any moment.
That's the fear. That's the fear. But like Mike Tyson, could you get him into the late rounds?
Like Buster Douglas did, or Evander Holyfield did.
That's the only question remaining for Alabama.
3rd down and 3. Tagovailoa, the quick thrower, Judy, and he's got a first down.
If you haven't watched Alabama play football in a while, if you just tuned in and say, I watch Alabama play this year.
Guess I'll watch tonight.
I'm going to watch, and he's going to go, who's wearing these red uniforms? Holy cow.
That's right. If you expected run, that's not the way it is anymore.
I mean, this passing attack's so good, guys in the Big 12 think it's a good passing attack.
There's what Tua Tagovailoa has done so far. 1 touchdown, which is his 26th of the year. Still hasn't thrown an interception on the season. Gives it off. Damian Harris straight up the middle for 3 more.
And again, you gotta hold them to a field goal. You win. If you're LSU, you win holding them to a field goal. I said during the number of interviews we both did this week about this game that if I was LSU, I'd take being down at halftime 14-3.
We've got 10 minutes to find out how close you'll be, or how close they would like it to be. Damian Harris has 36 yards on this drive. Tagovailoa is going to flip it out there to him. Oh, that was dangerous. Michael Divinity almost had himself an interception.
Yep, that was a big misread that time. The word that LSU told us when we interviewed Dave Aranda is they felt that Tua made almost all of his throws from a pre-read. That he decided before the snap where to go to, and we have to fool him 3 or 4 times in this game, but more importantly, make a play on it when we do.
They did there.
And they had a chance.
And it forced 3rd down at 7. Empty backfield. Josh Jacobs out as a wide receiver to the top of the screen. Tagovailoa looking that way, running away, and has to throw it away, but was it caught by Jacobs? It was.
Come on.
I thought he was trying to throw it away, and Jacobs caught it.
I like watching NBA basketball, I have to admit. When Steph Curry makes one of those shots, I always go, come on, you can't do that, okay? Watch Tua. How does he make this throw? I thought he was going to get sacked or throw it away.
It is 4th down and about 2 feet. And the Tide trying to get their lineman up there to go for it. Josh Jacobs in the Wildcat. Straight ahead. 1st down, Tide.
Yeah, Patrick Queen had a chance at him, number 8. He was that linebacker. We've seen Devin White make those plays in the backfield. Watch, got a chance, runs right by him, just misses him. Had a chance, would have been a great play if he had done it, but that was the only way you're going to stop.
So they got it down to the 12. They've mixed it up beautifully, run and pass on this drive.
Yep.
They give it to Waddle on the little flip with a stiff arm. He goes down around the 9. Todd Harris made the tackle.
Well, you can see that is the wrinkle that LSU is seeing, that Alabama's basically saved for this game. I mean, they haven't had to run these plays. They've been winning by so much.
Right.
This is the little wrinkle with the speed at receiver with Waddle and Ruggs and Judy, the speed they have. That's what they added to this game plan tonight.
The Tide's got it at the Tiger 9. They can get a first down around the 2. 2nd and 7. 8 minutes remaining first half. Blitz coming. Josh Jacobs runs right past it. Gets to the 5.
That's great running. Great vision. Josh Jacobs has earned his carries. Not a highly recruited player. You know, we talk about all the 5 stars that Alabama gets. Josh Jacobs was not. But he just gets the coaches going, he's our best all-around back. Blocking, vision, running, and catching the ball.
Oklahoma missed on him. Tulsa didn't think about him, even though he's from Tulsa.
Yep.
Got it inside the 5, where it's 3rd and 3.
Be a huge win for LSU. A long drive, eat the clock, and hold them to a field goal.
Can they? Damian Harris with Tua in the backfield. Going to throw for it. Scrambles to buy himself some time. Here comes the heat. He just heaves it out of the end zone. They got their stop.
They did. And it ate up a bonus. So they hold them to 4 less points. And the bonus is they took 7 minutes out of the clock. Matchup. Stay with them. 2 is a scrambler. Do not look at the quarterback. Stay with your man. That's your assignment. Let somebody else chase the quarterback. Well done.
Remember, on the extra point, it was mishandled by Mac Jones on the snap, and they missed the extra point. This will be the same setup from 23 yards on the field goal. This one's clean. It's up, and it's good. So Bulovas from 23 adds to the lead. But still, top-ranked Alabama only leading 9-0. Our aerial coverage is sponsored by State Farm, here to help life go right. As you look in, Tiger Stadium on a beautiful Saturday night in Baton Rouge. And so far, it's Alabama with a touchdown and a field goal to lead 9-0. Bulovas, who just hit that field goal, set to kick away to Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Nick Brossette.
As we talked about between the quarters, it continues to be a problem for LSU. No offense. Alabama in that last drive had more plays than LSU has in the whole half. Just 14 offensive plays for LSU.
The defense has done its job, but the offense has got to come up with something. And this one goes out of bounds, so it's going to be decent field position to start with.
So what's the answer? There is no easy answer here. This is a high-level defense that Alabama features. I think you got to get Joe Burrow running the ball a little bit. Remember the Clemson National Championship game when Deshaun Watson ran the ball?
Yep.
That loosened him up. Remember when Clemson played the next year without it? They didn't move the ball for under 200 yards. I think Joe Burrow has to help the offense running the ball.
And I said earlier that as you look at Steve Emsinger, the offensive coordinator for LSU, the big plays that Burrow came up with in the Auburn game and the Georgia game were with his legs as much, if not more, than his arm.
And I don't think they should go fast anymore either. Their defense needs a blow here.
First down from the 35. Burrow, that's knocked down again.
You know what? Alabama is pretty sure that LSU is throwing slants and short passes. They've been coached up that part of their pass defense is to charge. If they get cut up front, put your hands up. And Isaiah Buggs did a nice job right there.
Louisiana native from Ruston. Almost had an interception.
And another guy not highly recruited either.
Nope.
Bugs.
Play action, Burrow. Far sideline completes. It's short of the first down, but it's Justin Jefferson again.
Yeah, so now they're in that 3rd and 2 situation that they were stopped last time running the ball. Again, I'm wondering if Joe Burrow can't help the offense here by running the ball.
Gives it off. Brissett got the first down, I think.
Had the zone read on. He could have kept it, read it, and got the first down.
And it is first down.
That helps that defense. When you're out there 15 plays, kill some clock. Kill some clock. Help your defense.
First 3rd down conversion of the night comes up with a slant again to Jefferson. He likes throwing that pass both sides, and he likes number 2 to be on the receiving end. So LSU back in Bama territory. 2nd down and 1, and they will hurry here. Brissett didn't get it. 3rd down and 1. Quinnen Williams, one of the guys there from that defensive front for the Tide. He's on the bottom of the pile. He is a load.
Short enough to go quarterback sneak.
There it goes. And he got it. That's what he did against Georgia.
Sure did.
As you look in from Skycam, right above number 9, a nice push by the offensive front of the Tigers. First down at the 43. Burrow, play action, steps up in the pocket. Now he is going to run. Heading to the sideline, won't get anything. Moses knocks him out of bounds. No flags.
Dangerous and unnecessary that time. Dylan Moses, originally committed to LSU, was offered a scholarship as an 8th grader to LSU.
Yeah, it was a little two-hand push.
That could have been called. That could have been called.
2nd and 10, and motion everywhere here. And then I think Lloyd Cushenberry, the center, saying, I didn't hear you clap your hands.
Snap, false start. Offense number 77. 5 yards, still first down.
Call it on Sadiq Charles, but I think it could have been anybody on the offensive line. Now let's test your knowledge with today's Aflac trivia question, which is, who was the last head coach to defeat Alabama by at least 16 points? Probably have to go back a ways, I would imagine. Right now, Alabama leads by 9 at the 5-minute mark. That false start makes it 2nd and 14. Dillon in motion. Burrow steps up, throws short over the middle, kind of a knuckleball intended for Dillon. I don't know if somebody got a hand on that.
Yeah, you wonder, you know, as all those short passes again. When you throw short, you know, the NFL guys like Montana and Breeze know how to throw in those holes. No, that one just came off his hand funny, didn't it? Just came off his hand.
I don't know if he was trying to aim it or something. But
that was a tough one. That's one you don't like to watch on the next day in tape.
And you don't like that it's 3rd and 14 either. Running for his life. Throws it in the vicinity of Morrow.
Boy, I'll tell you, Christian Miller has gotten healthy now. And him being healthy, he's become a weapon for this football team. Coming off the left side of LSU right here, Alabama's right side. He defeats the offensive tackle quickly, and there's nothing Burrow could do.
Remember, he got hurt in the opener last year against Florida State and missed the rest of the season, but he is rounding into form again, as Gary said, and forces a punt. Josh Grodin last time was hoping to drop it inside the 10, but it made it to the end zone. This time, fair catch taken around the 15 by Waddle.
Yeah, and this is the problem again with going hurry up. It's good when it works, but when it doesn't, you give the quarterback 4 minutes.
4.5 to play in the half. Tua and company have it when we come back. 9-0 Alabama. And now do Project Smarter presented by the Home Depot. What do you got, GD?
Well, how do you replace an All-American? Well, Patrick Queen is going to get the call, number 8 inside linebacker. And I'm not picking on Patrick. This is a tough assignment for anybody. And I don't know if Devin White would have made these plays or not. But you see Alabama running right at him on that play. This one is a guess. On 4th down, you pick a lane and you try to hit it head on. But I cannot emphasize enough the suspension of Devin White, what it's meant for this LSU team. For 2 weeks, they had to get 2 guys ready for that position and split those practice snaps.
And even with some of those misses, Patrick's already got a career-high 6 tackles in the half. Here's Najee Harris, who blasted one for 28 earlier in the game, and he's got 12 more there.
And don't think that Dave Aranda and Coach O doesn't know that they're having trouble scoring. And that means this LSU defense has to stand up one more time and keep the team in the game and get to halftime. A touchdown here would be devastating. They just don't know if they can score that many points.
I think Coach O has looked at that clock more than he's looked at the field so far.
Yes.
Tagovailoa too far in front of Judy, incomplete. Fulton was out there covering.
Well, you sure can see by playing man-to-man and forcing the ball out of Tua's hand just a little bit earlier than he wants, that his accuracy's gone down like all of us do. You know, I mean, I always ask, what do you do to stop Tom Brady? And whatever it is, always ends up like, you better get to him, because if you don't, he's going to eat you up.
There's the numbers for Tua so far.
It looks human-like, doesn't it?
It does. Throws complete to Irv Smith, then another first down.
Yeah, I think he was throwing the ball to Ruggs, though, and Irv Smith picked it off.
Sometimes you just got to be lucky.
That's exactly right. He had his eyes to the left. See how he's got his eyes over there, throwing it to Ruggs, and
right.
They picked it off.
You're
nice
right.
one.
Henry says that could have been mine, Irv.
Yes.
We got a timeout with Fulton shaking up.
Boy, and again, listen, everybody has all their own strategies, and when these coaches put these game plans together, we talked to Steve Emziger about it. Are you going to go fast? He said yes. I looked at him like, are you sure?
Welcome back inside Tiger Stadium late in the first half. You've got 2 players making a name for themselves in the SEC from Oahu. Of course, Tua Tagovailoa and Braden Fehoko on the LSU defensive side. They have known each other for quite some time. A photo of them emerged this week from a camp on Hawaii's mainland as young players. Now, here's where the world becomes even smaller. As the defensive coordinator at Hawaii between the years of 2008 and 11, Dave Aranda remembers seeing Tagovailoa at this camp. Now, keep this in perspective. Tagovailoa was 10 to 13 years old at that time. That is quite the impact to make on Aranda, and for him to remember that.
That's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Tua's got a first down right now from the 40. Damian Harris behind him. Fakes it to Harris. Pressure coming. Going to throw it deep. Man out there, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Todd Harris. Big play, and the first interception of the year thrown by number 13.
Well, Todd Harris was in for John Battle. And on this play, Kelvin Joseph was in for Christian Fulton. They went right at the true freshman. They went right at him. A true freshman, go at him, but watch. Tua gets chased out of the pocket, and he's too late with the ball, and that allows Todd Harris to get the pick.
The defense comes up big. First pick of the year. Tigers have it back.
Houston, BJ, and I'll get you caught up on today's action, including Georgia clinching the SEC East. DeAndre Swift, 83 yards right here. The Dogs a season high, 331 on the ground, 34-17 the final.
So we know Georgia's in the championship. Alabama can join them if they can win this game tonight. Good news, interception for LSU. Bad news, their own 4-yard line.
Right. And what order number 1 right now, job 1, get this to the half. They need a first down.
Edwards in there. Collard as he drags tacklers for about 4. Christian Miller holding on. We asked you earlier to test your knowledge with the Aflac trivia question, which was, the last head coach to defeat Alabama by at least 16 points. You think we had a little trick in there for you? Yeah, Nick Saban, LSU in 2004.
When we heard that Thursday, I was all over that answer, and I did not say Nick Saban. I was like, and I didn't get it.
2nd down and 6 as we're under 3 minutes remaining second quarter. Look out, Joe Burrow. Down he goes at the goal line, courtesy of Quentin Williams. It's not a safety, but it's awfully close.
Brad, there's a difference between aggressive and reckless. There's no need to call that play right now. You're trying to get to the second half of a football game. You're having trouble blocking the edge all year. You can't make that call.
Dylan Moses is the guy that came around the corner, and then 92 joined him at the goal line. It's at the 1-foot line right now.
They don't even have their starter in at right tackle. Deculus is out. They got Adrian McGee at right tackle right now, and they're lucky that wasn't a safety or a touchdown sack fumble.
Alabama almost jumped in the neutral zone. Can they get it out of the end zone? Edward Zeeler got it back.
And Alabama will call timeout. Boy, that called for 3 runs or a quarterback run or a bootleg safe throw, not dropping your quarterback back on the goal line.
I said to you during that last time out, can they get out of here without having to punt? They're going to have to punt when we come back with a 4th and 9 with 1:54 left in the half. Zach Von Rosenberg is about a foot from his own end line as you look behind him. Even with a great kick, Waddle, if he has to fair catch, it's going to be around the 50. It is a good kick. Waddle will take it at the 49. Trying to give some ground to gain some, and he almost lost the ball, and he did lose some yardage. So it's still at the 45 with a timeout left. And a minute 42 to play with for the Crimson Tide offense. Don't forget, coming up, Geico halftime report. Zook and the guys. We'll have all the highlights. They'll look back at the Georgia win over Kentucky earlier today that put the Bulldogs back at Mercedes-Benz Stadium the first Saturday of December to try to win the SEC crown again. Will they be playing Alabama? We're 2 quarters and a minute 42 from finding out. Tagovailoa threw an interception, his first of the year, comes back slinging across to Jerry Jeudy on the fly. Great move by Jeudy at the 35, still on his feet. Broke another tackle and camps down at the 25-yard line.
That's the 41st play that this LSU defense has been on the field in the first half. They shouldn't be out there. They should have got out of this half. Remember,
Offside.
LSU wins the toss.
Defense number 91. Appelli's decline. Play results in a first down.
Think about the decisions made by Coach Orgeron in this game. He wins the toss. He could have taken the ball. That's 1 less position for Alabama. Right. He gets down here. Well, they've only run the ball 9 times. 2 of their they have 11 rush attempts, but 2 of them are sacks. They have not played the clock good enough to get out. Their defense has been good enough to win this first half, even though the score is 9-0. Now Alabama's got a chance to put 7 more points on the board.
It was a 29-yard pickup. Ruggs was out there trying to throw blocks. He got a couple blocks, actually. That's how he got shaken up. As you saw, his ankle kind of give way there.
Yeah.
So they're still working on him around the 22-yard line. It looked like it was his right ankle. And he gets up, and that is one less weapon, I should say, for Alabama. There's his numbers so far, including the only touchdown of the game. So Tua Tagovailoa, who had gone 179 attempts this season and all the way back to the Georgia National Championship game, had gone 195 attempts in a row without an interception. Threw one to Todd Harris, but he comes right back slinging it again. And he's got him down to the 25-yard line with a minute 29 to go in the half. Tagovailoa steps up, fires to the end zone. Got it! Irv Smith for the touchdown. Louisiana native from New Orleans Smith beat Delpit and company on a perfect throw by Tua for his second touchdown of the night.
So when you have an Irv Smith, who's a receiving tight end, you get him out of safety. Even though you lose a receiver, you put your tight end on a safe. Well, geez, they were playing man-to-man and chase the whole way. Delpit had no chance for him that time. He was beat at the line of scrimmage. No help deep. That was pitch and catch, and that's devastating for this LSU team. Tua does it again. You give him another chance, he'll make you pay. He's just too good. Too many weapons.
Results of the play is a touchdown. Following the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, number 82 of the offense. That unsportsmanlike conduct penalty will be enforced on the kickoff. That is number 82's first unsportsmanlike conduct penalty.
So Irv Smith, whose dad played down the road for the Saints, with a touchdown catch for him, his 6th of the year. We talked about those astonishing numbers for the wide receivers, but Irv Smith's just like having another wide receiver out there. 25-yard catch. Thought there was a whistle before the extra point, but I guess not. It's up and good. So, for the 9th straight game, Tua Tagovailoa, multiple touchdowns in the first half. This one to Smith at 16-0 tied. So don't give Alabama the ball back with time on the clock. A 25-yard touchdown pass followed a throw to Judy for 29, and then Smith with the score, his 6th of the year. Tua, his 2nd touchdown pass of the first half. And it all happened in 2 plays, 54 yards and 27 seconds. And that's because LSU had to punt. They could have chewed a lot more clock, as Gary said. So now with 1:15 to go, somebody better get on that ball. It's live right now. The set coming back the other way. He's got a little alley. Out to the 30, maybe the 32. If you're wondering about the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Irv Smith, you're going to see it at the end of this play.
Yeah, Delpit's got his legs, and Irv Smith gives him a little shot as he's giving up. Not there, right there. Yep. And then he goes to the crowd. I'm not sure if it was the kick. I think it was the taunting to the crowd, but it could have been both.
Yep. So now what do you do with 1:09 to go here? Decent field position, but
yeah, I mean, now you got to think scoring. I mean, you need points every drive.
Burrow got rid of it somehow, and was it trapped or caught by Dillon? He caught it. So 1:01 remaining in a timeout, LSU. That's not what you want to see on your possession chart.
Yeah, and on top of that, when you add those up, it only adds up to 27 plays in the first half, where Alabama's had 42. Your defense has got to be gassed.
4 wideouts for Burrow. This time incomplete. That was intended for Jamar Chase. Clock stops with 57 seconds remaining. And a 3rd down coming up.
And in this situation, these Alabama defensive backs will be sitting in zone, looking at the quarterback and trying to jump on one of these short routes.
LSU would love to get this 5 just to not have to punt again. Burrow just lobs one into the Alabama bench, and that stops the clock, and it's 4th and 5, and there's 50 seconds still remaining. You know, the secondary from Alabama has showed up tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, they've lost one of their key players earlier in the year, Trayvon Diggs, but they replace them. They recruit a lot of good players here at Alabama, and they have showed up, and they have blanketed these receivers. They stay in phase as good as anybody you see in college football.
This is amazing. They're going to get the ball back, and it depends on what Waddle does with it. He is dangerous. He has a touchdown already this year. He has to call fair catch on this one and takes it around the 20-yard line. 42 seconds, and Alabama still got a timeout to work with. Well, in the heat of Baton Rouge, we go to the heat of Hawaii. Crimes can really get twisted, and this week Magnum's life is at risk when he ends up out to sea. New Magnum PI, Monday, 9, 8 Central, only CBS. Brad Nessler, Gary Danielson, Jamie Erdahl and our CBS crew in Baton Rouge. We're at 16-0 for the top-ranked team in the country with 42 seconds remaining. Earlier tonight, before it got dark, this was free Devin White on the back of an airplane. Well, he'll be freed in 42 seconds, and then the halftime that we had to go.
I know the old Alabama offense would run a screen pass here. I'm not sure what they do with Tua.
Gives it to Damian Harris. And he got a couple before he's knocked out of bounds. Patrick Queen, another tackle.
Yeah, you just don't want to make a mistake here. It was 9-0. You were like saying, oh gosh, we moved the ball all over the place. We only have a 9-0 lead. Now you got it to 16-0. And you're going, don't want to make a mistake on our end of the zone right here. That's why a safe pass is probably what's called for.
Over 300 yards of offense for the Crimson Tide. They're number 2 in the country in total offense.
There's the screen.
Throwing it to Harris, who's taken out again by Queen. And it's going to be 3rd and long. LSU still with 2 timeouts. They could get a stop here. They could get the ball back. Three wide out grouping for Tagovailoa if he chooses to put it up here, including Devontae Smith, who's up to the top of your screen. They'll keep it on the ground to Harris running that way. A hurdle down the sideline. He got the first down.
Just think about that. He's only going into this game, probably one of the best backs in all of college football. Only came in with 68 rush attempts coming into this game. That's the 9th in this game. They've been featuring him in this one.
On 3rd and 11, they get 17.
Yeah. They just didn't want to make a mistake. They would have rather punted.
So Davian enjoying that last run. Josh Jacobs will come in for him into the Alabama backfield.
A little more space here. Let's see if they let him throw the ball downfield.
That's what he wants to do, but he's not going to be able to get rid of it. He got rid of it, and now he's playing with that brace on his right knee as he's hit throwing the ball away.
I tell you, Tua better be careful on these. He makes a lot of big plays. I'll give him that. But in high-level competition, you wave the ball around like he does and makes a late throw with the defender on you. That could be a dangerous fluttering pass to the sideline, let alone to your knee.
Remember, Jalen Hurts was in a walking boot yesterday and was walking around with a limp before the game. Would only be used in an emergency, according to Nick Saban. Josh Jacobs, straight up the middle. Alabama's going to be comfortable with a 16-0 halftime lead, head to the locker room and not get their quarterback hurt. So right now the Tide is halfway to their goal of beating Georgia for the SEC title in Atlanta. And coming out in the 3rd quarter, LSU will have its best defensive player ready to go in Devin White. Jamie's with Nick Saban.
Coach, how have you held this team off the scoreboard, but more importantly, -1 rushing yard from LSU?
Well, I think our defense has done a good job. We're mixing things up. We made some good adjustments from the beginning of the game. So we've got to keep playing, though. They've got a lot of good explosive players.
All right, Coach, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Halftime. Big play by the defense, but it's been all offense for Alabama. 16-0. Geico halftime report is coming up next.
All right, Brad, thanks. Coming up here on the Geico halftime report, Houston, BJ, and I will show you how Georgia won the SEC East, punching their ticket to Atlanta. After this word from your local station.
Just about set to start the 3rd quarter in Baton Rouge. And moments ago, this was a scene, one of the final guys out of the locker room for LSU, Devin White. And it caused quite a stir for the fans over there. They are hoping that number 40 can make a big difference in the second half. Gary said earlier, if you could get around 14-3 at halftime and then get him back, that would be good. Not quite what you were hoping for, Gene.
No, and I think you nailed it. It was a stir. If it was 9-0, it would have been an earthquake.
No doubt.
As he came out.
Well, LSU gets the ball to start the second half, and they've got to find some offense. That's been the big problem so far. Kick will be down in the end zone. Bring it out to the 25. And we bring you back to the booth. Brad and Gary. Jamie's down on the sideline. I don't know where they're going to find it, but they got to find something. -1 yard rushing is not going to cut it for LSU.
Yeah, this Alabama team's too good. They're too good on offense. And the story has been just like the 2-16 game here 2 years ago. No offense. It's 192 yards total in 6 quarters at LSU. And you know what? It's not good enough quarterback play. If you're going to beat Alabama, you've got to bring excellent quarterback play. I think back to that upset South Carolina when they beat them. Stephen Garcia went 9 for 9 in the first half. That's what set them up. They're not getting that type of quarterback play, and they have it in the last 5 games.
Nick Brosette got about 3 on the carry. Let's check in with Jamie.
Ed Orgeron said LSU needs that spark coming out of the tunnel in the second half. But where do you find it on offense? He said set the edge, not only to find rush yards, which they finished with -1 in the first half, but to buy Joe Burrow more time in terms of that quarterbacking. Devin White, he needs him to be more of a spark, not just emotionally, but heck, stop the run up the middle against Alabama.
And Jamie, no time for Joe Burrow on that one as Quinton Williams has his 2nd sack of the night. And it's a loss of 5, and all of a sudden you find yourself 3rd down and 14 or 15 to open the 3rd quarter.
Jonah Williams, the left tackle, All-American left tackle for Alabama, said about Quinton Williams, he's like trying to block a 300-pound bar of soap. You can't get your hands on him. He said, you know, it almost feels good watching the other guys on the other teams not block him because we can't block him either.
Exactly. If he's not on his way to All-American status, I haven't seen one. Burrow on 3rd and long. Got it to Jefferson, but he's not going to get anywhere near the 1st down marker. Mac Wilson, Surtain and company are there, and so it's a 3 and out, not what LSU was hoping for.
No, negative plays will kill you against Alabama because they'll set in their matchup zone. And when Alabama plays their matchup zone, they don't just sit and cover grass. They go up and cover a player in their zone. Very well schooled on their matchup zone. Nick Saban's been doing it ever since he was at Michigan State. Same defense, and it still works today.
Von Rosenberg has got a punt on the 3 and out, and they come after it. Almost got to it. He got the kick away somehow, and Waddle's just got to let it roll. This is going to end up being a great kick, and I don't know how he got it through all the arms of the onrushing Crimson Tide special teams. You want to look at some trends in the first half? It almost looked like he had a bad half, and he's got 205 and 2. And then we already talked about this. Averaging almost 200 at -1. On the ground, Quinn, the leading tackler, playing for Devin White with 9, but Devin is back out there, number 40, after missing the first half because of a targeting situation against Mississippi State a couple of weeks ago, back on the field.
And as bleak as it looks for LSU, they know they're 2 possessions away, so this Alabama offense needs to be thinking 1 more score, and we can turn this thing really badly.
The RPO and a dart thrown to Judy, and Judy on the run. With a stiff arm, might be a face mask offensively, though. No flag came in. Big gainer.
One of the things the LSU staff said is too many gimmies. Look at the depth on this throw. No safety in the picture at all. You run a slant and you're 5 yards open on a 5-yard pass. It's just too easy.
A 30-yard pickup out to the 48. Tagovailoa trying to be heard over the crowd. Damian Harris got about 3.
They love to run left because of Jonah Williams and now Deontay Brown over there. Jonah Williams played right tackle, now left tackle, and they go right at him.
So they're back in LSU territory already here on their opening possession of the third quarter.
It's hard to even find time to talk about this great offensive line for Alabama because of all the things Tua does, but they are playing excellent football up front.
Led by Pierce Baker, the center, who snaps it. They give it to Damian Harris, and he bowls his way for maybe a first down.
Man, oh man. You talk about fresh legs. They've been saving Damian Harris for this game all year.
And here he comes. And even though Devin White tried to wrap him up, he ran through that arm tackle and got a first down. Right back to him. Picked up a couple. Rashard Lawrence in on the stop. Let's get some injury updates. Jamie, what do you got?
A couple things to watch on this series, guys. John Battles did not return after that opening series injury to his right ankle. He didn't even come out of the locker room, unavailable for the LSU defense. Henry Ruggs, lower leg injury, questionable to return for Bama's offense.
All right, Jamie, thanks. Even without Ruggs, they've got Waddle out there, the freshman, to the bottom of your screen. On first down, Tagovailoa, plenty of time. Tua fires down the middle, incomplete. Nice job by Greedy Williams defending Devontae Smith.
Yeah, he has the best defending percentage in all of college football. When you go at him, he knocks down more and produces more incompletions than any corner in football. You know, without Ruggs, and Devontae Smith is also not 100%, that receiving core is now down at least 2 good players.
Second down and 10. The quick throw is high and away, intended for Terrell Shavers.
Yeah, but Greedy Williams on the corner blitz got in the way of the throw and made the defensive play on that one. Corner Cat coming from the short side.
This isn't field goal territory right now for Alabama, and they've got third down at 10, so this would be a big stop for LSU.
Can Devin White get to the quarterback? He's got fresh legs. He's lined up at defensive end. I said he's their best pass rusher.
It's right there. Third and 10. He back off. Tagovailoa throws incomplete.
Man, he read that one poorly. The LSU secondary had everyone covered on that one, and as we talk about Tua a lot, he really has no conscience when he throws the ball.
Nope.
He thinks he can fit it in anywhere. Only a 3-man rush. Should have time to pick someone out. Nobody to pick out. He throws it anyway. Big stop by that LSU defense. Stay in the game.
Forcing a punt. Mike Bernier to kick. That's Jonathan Giles standing back around the 8-yard line.
Remember, Alabama's never had to make a pressure offensive series in this season.
End over end kick by Bernier. Fair catch around the 11-yard line by Giles. Can LSU find some offense? We'll find out when we come back. Not a who's who has been on the sideline. Who hasn't been on the sideline tonight? Eric Dickerson in the house.
That'd be some offense.
OBG.
That'd be some offensive help,
right? That would be some help, yep. You could maybe get Leonard Fournette out there if his hamstring would hold up. That'd help. Or maybe Darius Geis. Even though Adrian Peterson's filling in for him right now while he's banged up. Vince Vaughn.
That'd be no help.
No, that wouldn't be. Well, he's tall.
He's tall.
He could maybe block a field goal. I don't know.
Again, listen, you just can't. It's 16-0. You got to find offense. What do you do? I still say Joe Burrow's got to run some RPO or runs.
Here he comes. And that lost a yard and a half.
92.
He's just too good.
You know, there's a saying, if you're playing middle linebacker, if you got one of those guys with a big butt in front of you, you're a pretty good middle linebacker. And when you got a big butt in front of you like that, 92, and last year you had big butts in front of you before. They've had 6 defensive linemen drafted in the last 2 drafts.
Minus 6 yards rushing now.
Jeez. Those linebackers haven't been touched for Alabama yet. can't get to the second level at all.
Play action, Burrow, pressured, throws. Wow, he tucked one in there to Jefferson.
Did. Gutsy catch by Jefferson there.
So first down out across the 25.
Can't run, you got to throw.
Pickup of 16. Burrow again, deep middle. Tipped, almost intercepted.
But look
Xavier McKinney. No, it wasn't Xavier McKinney.
Yeah. Was it Carter? Shaheem Carter, number 5. It was in coverage that time. I couldn't see if it was 15 or 5. It was 5.
Yeah, they're both there, but it was 5.
You're right. And that's how tight those windows are when you're throwing the ball downfield. The completion to Jefferson was almost as tight as that throw.
Yep. So second down at 10. Burrow sends a motion man. Dillon fakes and goes back to Dillon. Only a couple yard pickup. Good job by Deontay Thompson.
Remember, the 6 top defensive backs for Alabama were all gone. The weakness of this team was supposed to be, how you're going to place those guys.
Yeah.
Well, they did. They found
Every
6
year
new
they
guys.
do.
They found 6 new guys.
And they're getting better every game.
Yes. Well, Deontay Thompson is playing at such a high level. Remember, he had to play in the championship game and the semifinal a year ago. He came through for Alabama last year, and he's just continued on from there.
Jefferson, the top receiver, in motion on third down and 14. Here they come. Burrow in trouble. Trying to scramble for it. Only got back to the line of scrimmage. Guess who brought him down? 92.
Yeah, 92. Jonah Williams calls him how'd you like to block a 300-pound bar of soap?
That's slippery. Very slippery.
And he stays fresh. They haven't played a lot of plays. They know it's a passing down. They haven't given up any yards running. Leonard Fournette's, remember that game in 2015? I think he had 19 attempts for 31 yards. He's going, yeah, I did this before.
I've seen this movie.
Yeah, I've seen this before.
On Rosenberg's punt. Waddle, fair catch around the 28-yard line. With a little over 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. So far, still all Alabama, 16-0 tied. The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by GMC, ExxonMobil, Chick-fil-A, and by Bud Light. College football playoff rankings came out Tuesday night. Everybody holds their breath to see what the committee thinks. They thought that Alabama is number 1. They're showing it right now. LSU number 3. Gary's got his own playoff picture.
Oh, sure. We got a little tradition here. We can tell everybody to stay at home because there's a few teams that control their own destiny. They don't need a committee. Uh-oh. We got to get rid of one right there.
This
Kentucky.
was going into the day, yeah.
Going into the day, Kentucky's gone. Everybody else is still in it. I think Michigan controls their own destiny. If they win out, I believe they're going to get there with 1 loss.
Here's Najee Harris trying to bounce it outside, no gain. But there's more work to be done by the committee,
However, if somebody loses, now the committee can go to work, okay? And here's some of the possibilities. What if it's Ohio State as the Big Ten champion? Now you got to decide, or will it be Oklahoma? West Virginia got a big win today. Washington State, Mike Leach still has his team alive. UCF still alive, undefeated with all those games in a row. And what if, are we going to put it up there? We don't have time to put the main one up there.
We'll go back to it, don't worry.
Got to get the hate going here.
Yeah, I know. Tagovailoa, they're going to get to him. Down he goes. Finally, Ed Alexander, the nose tackle.
Good coverage, and Ed Alexander finally gets to the quarterback and forces Tua to eat this pass attempt. Comes up in the pocket, and Alexander comes around and makes the stop. 3rd and long, still a football game.
Very low. They need to get all the way to the 38-yard line for a first down. All 3 wideouts. to the right of Tagovailoa. He's looking the other way. Wants to throw in the middle to Irv Smith. Tight end screen, and he got there. First down.
Wow. How valuable Irv Smith playing the role of O.J. Howard has been in this offense. You go empty, you take your tight end, get a little chip, buy some time if you're the quarterback, and drop off a safe pass for a first down.
Now you go back to Judy on the wide side, and Judy's got some blockers out there. Man, he has great skills after the catch. And he's fast, and he's got good hands.
Here's the secret about a good thrower. When you can lead a receiver to where he wants to go. And that's what Tua did on that pass. Perfectly thrown ball, allowed Judy to turn up as he caught it.
Now it's back to Damian Harris, right into the middle of the pack there. Glenn Logan was the first guy to make contact.
The last wild card in that playoff thing, by the way, is what happens to the team that everybody thinks is one of the best four. What happens if Alabama gets knocked off? What will the committee do with that? Because it's hard to argue that Alabama isn't one of the four best teams in the country, even if they do get knocked off.
And remember, a year ago with one loss, they made it in, and they made it pay off for another national championship. Second down and 8. Judy trotting over into the slot on the right side. Tagovailoa fires that way, incomplete, intended for Judy. And time for a Ford update right now, and Zook's got it in our New York studios.
All right, Ness, let's check Gary's playoff picture. Number 4 Notre Dame saw their lead down to 3 with under 3 minutes to go. At Northwestern, Ian Book keeping it for 6. He's also passed for 343. Irish have the ball up 10 with a minute to go. Count it, guys.
So I guess that Notre Dame thing you had over there on your screen,
so far,
that holds up.
Yep. Committee can stay home. They don't have to fly in.
Third down and 8. See if Devin White comes flying in. He's trying. Tagovailoa flushed out of the pocket. He'll run with it. He's got the first down and more. Still on the run. He is gone. Touchdown, Alabama. 44 yards. And he's holding his knee again at the end of that.
There's not much chance. He wanted to slide, but he couldn't. He had an open space in front of him. He goes, I can't slide. I can score. Caught LSU in man-to-man coverage. Everybody had their back turned. You get past the rush. Look at that LSU defender in the top of the screen there, running away from Tua as he breaks into the secondary. What a picture and what a score.
Oh boy. And a blocked extra point. That's the second problem they've had on an extra point.
See, that's the hope and the fear, by the way, for Alabama. If we do get in a tight game, will our less than championship kicking game come back to haunt us?
Tagovailoa, a career-long 44-yard touchdown, but heading into the tent during our timeout. And I'm not sure if it's just a long run or if it was a celebration at the end.
He seems okay till now.
Oh, it just kind of gave out right there, didn't it?
Right at the end. Right when he was trying to turn around. And I'll tell you, they got to stop jumping and doing that chest pump. When you got a bad knee, you don't want to be landing on that right leg like that.
So we'll see. Jamie will try to bring us any info she can, but there's another touchdown and a 22-0 lead for Alabama. Edwards-Helaire on the return. He's got something working on a kickoff return. Still on his feet. Edwards-Helaire trying to give LSU a spark on the special teams.
Coach Orgeron told us that we need something else in this game to beat these guys, to help us score. We need, a pick six, a fumble for a touchdown, or a return for a touchdown.
57-yarder.
That was close.
That was close. And you see Tua's back on the bike out of the tent. Meanwhile, LSU at the 40 of Alabama. In desperate need of some points. Nick Brossette Got a couple.
It's almost not fair. Lloyd Cushenberry trying to block Quinnen Williams.
Our aerial coverage is sponsored by State Farm, here to help life go right. Quinnen Williams is not helping life go right for the LSU offense so far in this game.
He's almost in the backfield on every play. He's got a blocker on him, but he's so far in the backfield that they're having to cut and redirect.
Play action. Burrow in trouble right away. He might have gotten a yard out of that. Jennings and Ray were there to bring him down.
Try to get out of the pocket. Nobody to throw to in the flat. Good coverage. Everybody reacted well to it. You slip a little bootleg out there and it's covered from the get-go. You got to give up on the play.
3rd down and 8.
And with the score the way it is right now, I think you're making a call as if you've got 2 downs to pick up the 1st down here. You can't punt.
They need to get to the 30 of Alabama, which would be their deepest penetration. And the throw is in and out of the hands of the tight end Morrow. And it's 4th down.
Was it slightly behind? I was looking on the other side of the field right there, but it looked like the throw was a little bit behind him.
It would have taken eyes because it was behind him and there was 2 defenders right there.
Yeah, he would have had to put it right in his stomach. That's a tight little option, tight end option throw, and LSU is at least lining up for the punt. Alabama's having none of it. They got their defense stays in the game.
Waddle with a fair catch at the 10-yard line. Alabama's got it back with 3.5 to go in the 3rd, and they're still pitching a shutout. 22-0 for the top-ranked Tide. 22-0 Alabama here in the 3rd quarter with 3.5 to go. Let's take a look at the GMC game changer.
Well, let's pick a nose tackle, because nose tackle Quinnen Williams has been in the backfield so much in this football game. Even though he's got a block hurt on him, he's blowing up the LSU rushing attack before it can get started in every direction. And by the way, he's not doing too bad on the passes either. That's put LSU in a -4 rushing yardage in this football game. Okay, even if we put the sacks in this game, you know, it's been 3 of them for 19 yards, maybe a little positive, but not much at all.
He's not only a GMC game changer, he's a game wrecker right now. Here's Damian Harris on the carry, and he goes for about 5 as we check in with Jamie.
Well, Tua stayed in the tent for about a minute. He had his helmet with him the whole time when he emerged. He warmed up on the bike behind the offensive meeting, so he was participating. And if this gives you any indicator as to how his health is, the wide receivers were ribbing him for looking like he was running in slow motion during that touchdown, so he seems to be good to go.
Yeah, that's because those guys run 23 miles an hour.
Yeah, fast enough, that's what I'd say. Fast enough.
Fast enough to go 44 yards that last time for a touchdown, and now his running back doing the same. Damian Harris. Another big gainer. Whoops, slipped a little bit on the sideline.
Just thinking out loud, Ness, just you and I are running the game. Has there been more than 2 or 3 runs to the right in this football game? It seems like Alabama has run left nearly every time in this football game for a lot of success, especially with that guy.
Following Jonah Williams, and another 21-yard pickup by Damian Harris. And he's closing in on 100. Last year, he only carried it 8 times in this game for 33 yards. Here's the RPO throw, incomplete, intended for Judy, who's looking for a flag and doesn't get it. Greedy Williams was covering.
You know, when you watch Alabama play now, and I'm going to say I think they deserve it. They're playing with an arrogance now that when you watch them, it's like I can only think of, just quickly, I just jotted it down. I can only think of 3 teams that played with the same arrogance that Alabama's playing with. Florida State back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
Miami back in the day, and USC back in the day. They played with that same arrogance that Alabama's playing with right now.
They're earning their swagger, that's for sure. On their way to 9-0 and on their way to Atlanta in about 15 minutes if they keep doing this. Intended for Jalen Waddle. It'll bring up 3rd and 10.
Nick Saban. It's his 71st game as a head coach, as being ranked #1. He has 21 wins, by the way, against teams ranked in the top 5.
And that's the most of any coach at one school to be in the 71st game as #1. Really doesn't matter 3rd and long to these guys.
Nope.
Tagovailoa throws Harris, and Devin White ran him out of bounds, and they will have to kick.
See the speed at which Devin Harris plays at, though.
Devin White, excuse me.
Devin White, excuse me. Yeah, I'm listening to you, wasn't I? Devin White on that coverage coming across, just follows him, goes at Harris, and makes the play, forcing a punt. 2 really good football players right there.
For sure. 2 of the best around. We're under 2 minutes in the third.
2 of the best people you're ever going to meet as well.
Good guys. Bernier to punt. Fair catch taken around the 21-yard line by Giles. Let's take a look at our Scholar athletes. Rocket Mortgage brings you today's Scholar athletes. Jedrick Wills. You talk about a really good lineman on one side. He's pretty good on the other side, too.
Really is.
And Zach Van Rosenberg has been a busy punter tonight. Rocket Mortgage is showing their commitment to the investment of our future by donating $1,000 to Alabama and LSU's general scholarship funds.
Really don't think Alabama has a weakness in the offensive line. Leatherwood is a stud, 70 at right guard. Pierce Baker at center. You know, he's got 50 starts in his career.
Edwards-Helaire going to the right side, and I don't believe Quinnen Williams can get over there that fast.
No, that's not even fair, is it?
That is a 295-pound man.
Yeah, remember he had to wait his turn because Deron Payne was a #1 draft pick playing in front of him a year ago.
Look at that pursuit. That's incredible. Yep. Comes up limping a little bit again.
Yep, you have to get on the bike.
Really big bike.
Yes, exactly. Got to bring in the big bike.
2nd and 9. Jefferson settles into the slot on the left, and Burrow down the middle and got him on the run. Justin Jefferson to the 45.
I tell you, Joe Burrow shows that he has the talent to make these throws, but against this Alabama defense, they're all tight, and you got no choice. That's what you got to do.
Pick up a 23.
That's why, you know, when you look at the teams that have beat Alabama, you know, you got 3 Heisman Trophy winners. Tebow did it, that great 4th quarter against them. Cam did it. Johnny Manziel did it. Deshaun Watson did it. You got to play at a really high level.
You know who his top receiver is? It's been Jefferson all night. It's been Jefferson all year, for that matter. Wanted to throw here, not going to get it away. Down he goes. We might have a holding call on top of it. Miller came around, and then Buggs cleaned up.
I thought it was a face mask too, Brad. Was there a hold before? Because I thought I saw a
personal foul, face mask, 99 defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Right at the end of the play.
Raekwon Davis with the face mask. Right there, yeah, he got all of it. Tried to slide it off, but good call and a first down for LSU. Got it at the 40-yard line. But time is of the essence. They've got 1 quarter left to try to make up 22 points. And in this case, 23 if they want to win. And hold Alabama without anything else. In the 4th quarter, Edwards-Helaire will bring the quarter to a close.
And think about it, this LSU team, even though, you know, that Alabama has this score 22, they've been averaging 54. It's not awful defense. It's just their offense is not put enough.
End of 3 on the road. Top-ranked Alabama pitching a shutout at 22-0. We'll return to Baton Rouge after this message and a word from your local station. 2nd down and 10 to start the 4th quarter for LSU at the Tide 40. Joe Burrow again flushed out of the pocket. Quinnen Williams given chase initially, and then he's run out of bounds. Very little gain on the play. You take a look at the festivities from the Chick-fil-A pylon cam. Not as many people in here as there was 3 hours ago, that's for sure. A little frustrated by the lack of offense for the Tigers. They had so much hope coming into this game that maybe this would be the time to snap the 7-game Alabama winning streak, but they got a big uphill climb right now. 3rd down and 3. It'd help if they could convert this. Burrow under center. And Edwards in there, popped out of the backside. They got the first down.
Quinn Williams got hit on his knee on that play and went down again. Something that Alabama has to be nervous about.
Yeah, they might not want to use him anymore in there. But at this rate, LSU's their deepest penetration right now.
So how about this? Quinn Williams doesn't play in the 4th quarter, but Tua does. That's something different.
2 months ago, you said, is Tua going to play at 4th quarter? You said to me, we'll see.
Yeah.
Burrow in trouble again. Who's got him? You know it. 92.
Yep. Well, Isaiah Buggs flushed him just a bit, and then 92. I mean, I don't. Right now, you got to think that he's the player of the game. I mean, if you look at this offense that LSU is doing in this football game, Buggs flushes him just a bit up the middle, and nobody can block number 92.
You know, he was considered by the Associated Press a preseason 2nd-team All-American. I don't know who's in front of him.
Right.
Oliver, maybe.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Well, I know there's other good players out there, but we haven't seen too many better than this guy.
A guy used to say there may be some that are good, but it's got to be a tie. Right?
2nd down, 18. Burrow again flushed out. Should have been a holding call. I don't think they called it, and now he's going to run for what he can, and it's a pretty good one. Back inside the 25.
Got him into the hope situation in this game. Think about it. Over close to 500 yards of offense for Alabama. It could have been a hold on Buggs, no doubt about it. Close to 500 yards, but only 22 points. The only problem is, in the last 10 meetings between LSU and Alabama, the most points in any game LSU scored is 24. Now they're going to have to score 24 in the 4th quarter.
In the next 12:50.
Right.
The first time out of the half.
And we've got a timeout. With 12:50 remaining, LSU needs some miracles here in the last 13 minutes. And now it's time for our ExxonMobil game recap here from Tiger Stadium. Number 1 against number 3. High expectations for both teams coming in. But right now, Alabama's pitching a shutout. 14 rushing yards. Most of that came in this past drive. Joe Burrow has been roughed up by Quinn Williams and company all night long, and then there's just too much of Tua. A couple of touchdown passes, 320 total yards, and 3 touchdowns. And you go, well, where'd the 3rd touchdown come from? Other than Irv Smith and the earlier touchdown, it was right here. A career long. Everybody with their back turned. He took off for 44 yards. As Gary said, can't slide because I'm going to go to the end zone. And so it just seems like kind of a normal night for him with the numbers that he has put up all season long. He did throw his first interception of the year.
I was just thinking, you remember those Heisman arrows on the bottom of the USA Today, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, he could go 300 yards passing, his arrow's going to go down after this game.
271, 2 in that 1 pick, and then 49 yards on the ground and the touchdown.
23-yard line.
So 3rd down and 7. Might be 2-down territory for LSU. I don't think they want a field goal. Burrow down the middle, and is it caught or is it intercepted? It's caught by Anderson, I think.
That was good protection that time. Joe Burrow had great room to step up and throw that football. And D. Anderson made the grab, and I didn't know who had it either, to tell you the truth. They
were fighting for it all the way down, and number 11 came up with it.
Yeah, Xavier McKinney was all over that throw, and he got it.
Brissett trying to go wide, going down instead. Lost a yard.
It's amazing to watch this Alabama defense do their job. You know, if they've got outside contained, they stay outside. This time, it was Shaheem Carter staying outside of his blocker, and when he saw the ball break outside, he ate it up. Yeah, that's the face when you haven't scored 10 points in the last 3 games against these guys.
At the 12-minute mark, 2nd down and 10. Brissett empties the backfield. Burrow in trouble again, throws out in the flat to Brissett. And he made something out of nothing there. Carter again knocked him out of bounds along with Dylan Moses.
This Alabama secondary is on their game. They motion out. Alabama checks down. They talk to each other. They get their new players that they have to cover. You know, if one guy goes in motion, corner's got him, then the linebacker and the safety take the next 2. They are all over their assignments in the secondary here.
And now Joe Burrow's looking out there and he's going, good, number 92 is not on the field. Maybe I can make a play here. 3rd and 10. Play action. Doesn't matter. The rest of the guys are chasing him. He's just got to keep it. And then he got tossed out of bounds. Might have lost a yard, actually.
That time it was Isaiah Buggs, number 49, that does the spin move inside to get in the face. I think he's right here. Not quite sure. Watch the spin.
Yep.
Yeah, spins inside, forces Burrow out of the pocket. And with a 22-point game right here, you got to take a field goal.
I guess if they were closer, that might be a different story.
I don't know either, to tell you the truth.
Cole Tracy, who's been brilliant this year, is 21 out of 23. He has hit 89 career field goals if you take him back to Assumption College Division II, where he hit 68. Oh, no. Not good on that one.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to add it up like 8, 8, and 3. That doesn't help you. And then when you miss it.
That really doesn't help you.
You got it.
The Home Depot SEC on CBS is sponsored by Sonic, Gillette, Coors Light, and by State Farm. Don't forget, before we're done here, the play of the game coming up, presented by Napa Auto Parts. Alabama fan having a good time down there in the end zone. Their team up 22-0, 10:45. The entire country, not just Jamie and Gary and I, have been wondering, will this guy ever play in the 4th quarter? Here it is, folks. Najee Harris straight up the middle. Najee Harris, his 3rd big run of the night, all the way out near midfield.
Najee Harris is a 5-star running back, one of the most hotly recruited players in all of the country. He's 3rd string here at Alabama.
Another 29 yards. He just chewed up out to the 49-yard line. .229 yards on the ground for Alabama. And a half yard a carry for LSU. Najee again. And puts his shoulders into it, goes for about 6 more. Takes 3 tacklers with him.
And right now, Alabama's just working on their 4-minute offense in case they need it later in the year. Just say, let's see if we can run the ball, take about 6 minutes off the clock here in case we get into a football game. Georgia, Auburn, you know, they still got Mississippi State we'll be at next week. Good solid defense there, but again, the same problem with Mississippi State will have against these guys. Can they score enough points?
Using as much clock as possible. A 2nd down and 3. The throw is complete to Judy in perfect stride. Judy sidestepping tacklers. Still going to the 20-yard line. Jerry Judy.
Jerry Judy's one of the few receivers I've seen doing college football that speed up when they catch the ball. It's just so apparent when you're up here watching him. He seems to accelerate as he catches the ball. He creates space just as he's catching it. Only a few players have that knack.
On the Biletnikoff list as the top wide receiver in football. Showing it here again tonight, as he has all season long. Another in the great line of great wideouts at Alabama. Najee Harris took Devin White for a ride for the last 4 of those yards.
Yeah, I'll tell you who's having a good football game again. Hale Henches, number 84, coming around. This play has worked all day here. Watch 84, following up 65, Deontay Brown and Henches. That play has been devastating running the football.
Najee Harris a little banged up on that last play, and
they've only got 3 other good ones they can put in there. They're okay.
The night he's had, they don't want to see it end that way.
You know, Damian Harris is very close to 100 yards here. Let's see if they feed him the ball and try to get his 100-yard football game here.
He's right behind Tua. He gives it off to him. Cut back to the line of scrimmage and maybe eked out a half yard. Out Alexander made the stop. We're down to 7:40.
An amazing record that Nick Saban has produced here since 2008, when he really built this team into a potential national champion. There's only been 3 games that Alabama has played when the game did not have national championship significance.
Yeah.
That was in 2010 when they lost to LSU. They came into that game in 2010 still alive for the national championship, but only the 3 games after the loss here were the games not involved when they were playing to get into it.
He's 7 minutes away from going 10-4 against LSU and 8 straight over the Tigers. And it's 1st and goal.
Inside at the 10. Alexander on the stop.
Gary said they go back home to Tuscaloosa next week. Gary and Jamie and I and the crew will be there. Just using all the play clock he can. Pierce Baker says, I'm not even getting over the ball till we get down around 10 here. Damian Harris straight up the middle. Got to the 2, maybe the 1. That puts him over the 100 mark.
Devin White.
You know, you talk about maybe LSU needing some more offense. Well, the other night, you go in the off week, Coach O was going to watch Tua's little brother, right, Brett Nuss?
And then he showed up today wearing an LSU badge around his neck. That is Taulia.
65 big-time recruits here, but only 1 walked out to the 50-yard line with the coach.
He's committed to Alabama, but Georgia's offered him. LSU is in the hunt.
That's called SEC recruiting right there.
Yeah. Damian Harris, straight ahead touchdown, Alabama. From a yard out. And he's basically saying, that's it, guys. Bye-bye. You're going to be 7-2. We're going to be 9-0.
And barring a huge upset, you know, Alabama here now, they're going to get into the national championship, the SEC championship game undefeated and maybe just playing for seeding in that game against Georgia.
I'm sure some of the Bulldogs who won the East today have made their way back from Lexington. They're watching this and saying, well, we knew who we're playing.
You know, for the 2nd straight year. Prior to kickoff of this game last year, Georgia clinched it. Same thing this year.
It's supposed to come a little bit later. Taking away the drama. 29-0 Alabama, 5:42 away from knowing they've got a date with the Dogs in Atlanta. Harris injured and on crutches, I guess. Jamie, what do you got?
It wasn't a good look for Najee Harris going into the locker room. They took that shoe off immediately. He was writhing in pain, grabbing his helmet. Obviously is not going to return, but something to watch out for the future of the Bama backfield.
Well, that digs into the depth, that's for sure.
That's for sure.
Meanwhile, it was Damian Harris who capped off that 79-yard drive in 7 plays a few minutes ago. Took about 4.5 minutes off the clock, and with it, Damian went over the 100-yard mark and got the 1-yard touchdown. And that's where we are, 29-0. Look at the total yardage. Wow. Well, Alabama came in number 2 in the country, averaging 564. They're basically right on their mark.
I really thought they were in this football game until that punt went down inside the 8-9 yard line, and they had that sack on the goal line.
Yep.
That allowed Alabama to get the ball one more time, and they put a touchdown on the board.
Joe Burrow in trouble again. Threw it late to Edwards-Helaire. And they got something positive out of it. Flags down. Edwards-Helaire heading to the near sideline. He's got a convoy in front of him. I think it's all coming back, but what a great individual play by number 22. They needed some of that a long time ago.
Yeah, there were. I saw one peel back block, but I don't know if they called it. This started with almost a sack, and was it a left-handed throw?
Offside. Defense. That penalty's declined. Play results in the first down.
Alabama.
Yep.
Dylan Moses, I think, was offside. So nice play by Edwards-Helaire.
And Bugs had him wrapped up, and Joe Burrow got the ball away, and then Helaire just put on a highlight run right there.
He did 30 yards worth of it. To the 45. LSU still looking for their first points of the night with 5 minutes to go. Deep middle, throw into danger zone. Broken up. Triple coverage almost down there. Stephon Sullivan was the intended receiver.
Yeah, and Mack Wilson came in and just did Joe Burrow threw that ball. Did it the right way. You know, you got to come in, you got to come under control, and you can't hit the quarterback in the face. They're just not going to let you do that.
Giles and Jefferson up to the top of the screen. Jamar Chase to the right for Burrow on second down at 10. A pass rush that won't give in. They try to throw a screen to help that, and Mack Wilson says, I got this. He makes the tackle.
Wilson's got his man. Again, one of the great things that Alabama does in their matchup zone is they don't just stand there and guard grass. They stand there, they got their zone, and then they take the man in that zone.
Thought Alabama jumped offside, but the throw's complete, and it should be a first down with forward progress to Terrence Marshall. I thought somebody jumped into the neutral zone for Alabama. Let's see.
Another one of these.
Offside. Defense number 32. That penalty's declined. Play results in the first down.
Another one of those sidearm throws by Joe Burrow, just throwing it to kind of survive.
Jalen Hurts, who hasn't had to play, he'll have another week to get his right ankle in better shape. Burrow down the middle, in and out of the hands of Stephon Sullivan.
We haven't said his name much, but Raekwon Davis, that time number 99, was the guy that put the pressure. It seems like they're taking turns up there to pressure the quarterback.
He hasn't had quite the statistics that he had a year ago.
No, but you know what the statistic he's always going to have? He's 6'8", 300-some pounds. He's always going to be that big.
He is.
And the NFL's going to take him. Another offsides.
This one's Christian Miller, I think. Free play, incomplete anyway.
It's a third one. That will upset the coach from Alabama.
Offside.
It's either the cadence or the hand clap, something that Joe Burrow has working for him right now. That's the one thing they have working for him. This Tuesday, Colbert is going live. Stephen breaks down the midterms as only he can do. Don't miss a special election night late show live Tuesday on CBS. There were some people at Nick Saban's radio show on Thursday night that asked if he won the toss, if he would elect to kick or receive. And speaking of elections, he said, I hope to elect to kick some tail. Well, they're doing it in Baton Rouge tonight. Burrow, the throw complete.
Yep.
D. Anderson.
Right in that zone. This is what the offense has to look like if you're really going to be able to move the ball against Alabama. You got to make these window throws in between the safeties. No other way. No easy throws against this team.
Pick up at 23, and now Burrow trying to get some points. He's going to run. I thought he was going to run right into the defense. Now he comes up throwing late, incomplete. Intended for Sullivan again. I'm not sure how he got out of that mess.
LSU trying to avoid another shutout. Been shut out 2 of the last 3 years. If you take the last 8 losses by LSU in this game, they're averaging 9.1 points. They've had 3 shutouts. The most they've scored in these losses, 17 points.
That wouldn't even help them right now.
No, but the 9.1 average still would have won that 9-6 game.
That's right. That's true. The game of the century, huh? And everybody pointing at everybody else. This one might be on LSU.
Dead ball, false start. Offense number 57. 5-yard penalty.
Jason Hines, a
Still
freshman.
out.
Celebration can almost start for Alabama. They'll have a fun trip back home to Tuscaloosa, knowing that they'll be playing for the SEC championship.
I know Ed Orgeron loves his football players, and they played hard for him. They're a good football team, okay? But I think he knows they don't match up with Alabama. I think he says we're not as good in the lines as we once were at the line of scrimmage.
Burrow hit from behind, overthrew Leonard Fournette out in the flat.
I think it was Christian Miller that came around the corner that time. It's pick a guy in red. It's going to be a different one each time.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, on offense, how they spread the ball around to the receivers. They spread the hits on the quarterback. Yeah.
So 3rd down and goal. Giles and Anderson up to the top, and Jefferson to the right of Joe Burrow on this 3rd down and goal. Zips it down the middle, and it's intercepted by Mack Wilson.
Holy cow.
6th career interception, his 2nd of the year.
That's your middle linebacker, by the way, making that acrobatic catch right there.
And that will probably be the final attempt that LSU will get to get it in the end zone.
Mack Wilson was lined up in that linebacker spot and dropped right from it. Watch him get his depth, go up, and make a beauty.
And you want to know what it looks like from the Chick-fil-A pylon cam? Just as pretty. Middle linebacker looking like a DB. Well, with the interception by Mack Wilson, he's got the championship belt. They'll play for the SEC championship. We know that now. As Alabama would just like to eat up 3 minutes 35 seconds here, and it's Brian Robinson. He'll go down for a loss. Well, they've done it before. 2nd SEC championship meeting. Alabama won the first one. I remember Georgia's driving down there. I think it was Aaron Murray on a tip pass that was caught. Had they dropped the ball, they might have had another play. And the 12th appearance, tied for the most of any team for Alabama. Georgia, the defending champs, and they get another crack now. Last year they beat Auburn. Now they'll get a crack at Alabama the first Saturday of December at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
So the question is, can Georgia match up? They've got a few holes in their team, but what they do have coming on, they've been running the ball better lately. And if you can run the ball against Alabama, you can put some pressure on them.
I think Georgia went for, I think Zook said 334, 338, something like that today.
I think over 300, yes.
Here's Robinson. See if he stays in bounds. He will. After a nice run at a 1st down.
You know, it's just kind of hard to wrap your arms around this Alabama success and how talented they are. Watch them playing out here, how talented they are. And then you think back to the last 2 drafts. Alabama had 22 players taken in the draft in the last 2 drafts. Wow. If you take 22 guys to the NFL, most coaches will say, hey, we're really young.
Yeah, we're going to rebuild.
That's right. Yeah, here's what they say, we're really good.
And we're going to keep getting better. And now Tua's day is done, and Mac Jones will take over. Just another day at the office for number 13. Over 300 yards of offense, 2 scoring tosses, and 1 run. And now Robinson again dives for another 1st down and stays in bounds as we work our way under 2 minutes. Alabama will go to 9-0.
It's so different. You know, we're going to go. We got the 2 teams already decided it's going to be in the SEC championship. Just a year ago, with 3 games to go, that's when Auburn beat Georgia, the #1 team, and then Auburn beat Alabama, the #1. All that happened, and now it's already decided.
Right.
Think about those 2 games last year.
And then Georgia got the rematch with the Auburn Tigers.
Exactly.
And won it. Now that guy's only got 6 national championships, so there might be another one in the future. Who knows? They've got to go through the remaining regular season schedule, and they've got to go through Georgia to make the playoff.
And one thing Georgia's going to do is Georgia's going to believe they can beat Alabama. I mean, you come within 1 play, you're getting ready to that football game saying, we played with them before. They had a 2nd and 26 on us.
Yeah, and Tua lit it up.
Yeah.
Well, in the final seconds here, the 5th or 6th running back for Alabama's in there.
We saw Butch Jones when we went to the interview Nick Saban. He's helping out with the staff, and I said, Butch, do you learn anything besides getting a lot of good players on your team?
Helps a lot. Give me a hug, Coach. A little love. We're the West champs. We're heading to Atlanta. We'll head back to Tuscaloosa. We'll meet Mississippi State next week here on CBS. Ed Orgeron's got the right thing going on here, though. They just need some more players, some more playmakers, and definitely not enough offense tonight. That was going to be their worry. We knew that coming in. Could they score enough points to outscore Alabama, or could they somehow come up with some turnovers and big special teams plays and that type of thing to stay in it? Winning coaches with Jamie.
All right, Coach, we heard this week that with your choice, you want to elect to kick some tail. Did your guys get the job done today?
Well, I'm satisfied with the way we played today. This is a tough place to play. You know, we wanted to make a little bit of a statement, too, in terms of the kind of team we had, people talking about our schedule and whatnot. But I thought our players did a great job. They competed really hard in the game. LSU's got a really good team, and this was a tough place to play. And I thought we did a good job with our poise and everybody sort of buying in and doing what we needed to do to sort of dominate, you know, their box.
To see Tua throw his first interception of his career, and then re-injure his knee a little bit, but come back and have the game that he has, what do you continue to learn about this young man in these settings?
No, he's a great competitor. He's very instinctive. You know, he's very great arm talent. You know, he reads a lot of plays for us very well. And, you know, we got some good receivers. So we got some guys banged up tonight, so hopefully we'll be all right.
Once again, you find yourselves in the SEC championship game against Georgia. What comes to your mind when you hear that?
Well, I thought we had to win another game for that to happen.
Well, now you know.
Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm worried about Mississippi State next week and seeing if our players can play with consistency, and they got to do it all again.
Coach, thanks.
All right, thank you.
Even thought he needed another win.
There you go. You learn something every time.
Sometimes you get focused and you just don't know. Well, time for the play of the game presented by Napa Auto Parts. And here it is. And it was really the capper after throwing 2 touchdown passes. Tua Tagovailoa taken off. Defensive backs had their backs turned, and he goes on a career-long romp, 44 yards for basically the capper of the game. And this is how E.I. Gold called it for the Alabama Radio Network.
Harris to the left side of the quarterback. A low snap. Tua's got it. Tua steps up. He sees an opening. He's going to run for the first down. 35-30, 25-20, 15-10, 5. Touchdown. Aloha. Alabama's Tua Tagovailoa gives the Crimson Tide a 44-yard run for a touchdown.
Aloha indeed, good call, Eli. And the Bama fans that have made the trip to Baton Rouge, pretty happy. We'll come back and wrap it up from Tiger Stadium in a minute.